Hello, everyone. This is your loving host, best-selling author, and podcast and TV personality, Dr. Afshan Hashmi. And today again, I am live from Barnes and Noble, and I came here just to see. It's a Sunday afternoon, and I just came here to see some books, and then I saw the authors are signing the book, and it is very sad that I started this program at Barnes and Noble, and they stopped it, and then I had met the a very senior person here in Barnes and Noble, and I talked to her, and I talked about reviving this program. And when Barnes and Noble did this, they excluded me. I don't know what is going on in America, like why they excluded me from this. And I told them, whenever you have that, please contact me. And they never contacted me. Now, the next thing is that I saw so many books, of these Tamil Nadu authors. What is going on in America? Like, wherever I go, I'm not against anybody, but I have a question with Vice President Kamala Harris and also President Joe Biden, that why so many Tamil Nadu people, are coming to America. The other day, I hired a cab from one of the hotels, and the guy in the cab, was so rude to me, and he was in so much anger, and he was from Tamil Nadu, and I was so scared. The other day I had gone for grocery, and then again there was this Tamil Nadu guy, from South India or Sri Lanka, and he was so rude to me. He started throwing things at me. So I would request President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris to please look into the matter. Why you are bringing so many people to America and spreading them in this? I live in Montgomery County. So why are they spreading so many people, so many people in Montgomery County, which is supposed to be a sanctuary city? I am the one who was targeted by a terrorist group, which is known as MS-13. I don't know what is going on. I have been working in with President Trump in Ladybird operation, and it's been 8 years, and folks, I haven't been paid. I don't know what is going on. I have written to President Trump as well as to President Joe Biden, and there was no reply. So now I have written also to Attorney General Mary McGarland, and I don't know what is happening, that there is no reimbursement. My husband has Parkinson and dementia, and he actually cannot move out of the bed. I am lost of funds. My books are not selling. I don't know what is going on. I have two books. I just came to Barnes and Noble. The first one is The Modern Mughal Mentality: New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. And the second book is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. And those two books were Amazon bestsellers. One fine day, I found out that The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection was taken out from Amazon. So I have a question for President Trump, as well as President Joe Biden, as well as Vice President Kamala Harris. What kind of America, are we living in? That people, they confiscate the books, and there is a book mafia. I have discovered, folks, that there is a book mafia here running. They don't write books. They steal the books, and they go after, people who write books. So I had to again, write about my get that book, again on The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, again on various channels, and I don't know what is going on. Yesterday my keys were lost. They pick up, I think the mafia picks up keys from your house, from drones. I don't know why, this kind of things are happening in Montgomery County, and Montgomery County is known to be a sanctuary city. Why these criminals are harbored in Montgomery County? I have a serious problem, with this. Why the borders of America are open? I am registered as a Republican, but I am not a Republican or a Democrat. I am just a neutral person. I had gone, to get my Democratic thing, like my Republican thing, removed and become neutral. That day it was closed. So I have gone through a lot during this period of 8 years, and this is not stopping. I'm writing about my reimbursement, and I'm not getting any reimbursement while so much money is spent on Ladybird operation. That Ladybird operation is in White House, and it was brought by President Trump, and now it is in full swing with President Joe Biden. So why, when I was the first hire of President Trump, why, I'm not reimbursed right now? My brother is giving me funds, to carry out the home, like carry out my expenses, and I'm very very pissed off with both the presidents, and Kamala Harris. What is going on? What is going on? One is saying make America great again. The other one is saying save America. Now, what is great about it, that President Trump, whom I always said that he's the best president ever, because since 3 years, I have been in touch with him, seeing his various programs and all. And the second one is Joe Biden, Save America. So, what is Save America and what is Make America Great Again? When you are not paying to the person, who is working like anything. Sometimes I have been waken up in the afternoon. Sometimes, when I'm sleeping, I am waken up and they take the briefing from me and they pass it out. And I want to do the Ladybird operation report, because I am direct descendant of Prophet Abu Bakr radiallahu anha. And this program has been where the treasury money of the Saudi funds, is brought from Saudi Arabia. So I want, like what is going on and how this Saudi money is spent. I have even written to King Abdullah, and I am waiting to hear from President Joe Biden and President Trump. And also, I want to hear from King Abdullah that what is going on. Being from that direct dynasty of Abu Bakr radiallahu anha, I have a full right to know about it, because those people who belong to these dynasties are taken care very well in Saudi Arabia. I live in America, and I am very upset with President Obama, because he has, and Hillary Clinton, they have done some things, when they were president and vice president. So please, folks, when you cast your vote, just think what these presidents are doing. So let me now. I have given my thing, and I don't have my books, and books bring food to the table. I am author, best-selling author of 2 books, and my this show will be syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. I don't know whether this show will be confiscated or what. I still don't know how people will see this show, or whether it will be censored. I don't know, but I hope it is not censored. Having said that, folks, now let me start. And yes, my 2 books, The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, as well as The Modern Mughal Mentality. I want a movie to be made. This Saudi fund was given, to Shah Rukh Khan to make several movies, and it was distributed in Bollywood and also in Hollywood. So why, me being the first person, the first person to this thing, and I want these movies to be made out of the outbreak of a monstrous infection, as well as the modern Mughal mentality, new strategies to succeed in India and the global marketplace. I have even sent my books to President Trump, and also I gave this book to Saudi embassy, and nothing has happened. I don't know what is going on. Having said that, folks, please go and buy my book and go and sponsor this show, because this show is syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. And also, pray for my husband, because he has Parkinson and dementia, and doctors don't have a very good prognosis. So I really need reimbursement of my funds. Having said that, folks, now let's start, with the first book. The first book is Kitchen Confidential, and this is a very good author, and it says Adventures in the Culinary and Underbelly, Anthony Bondor. I don't know what happened to him, and he died very 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 like in mysterious circumstances. I don't know what has happened, but whenever I come here to Barnes and Noble, I see his books. So does his family get like like they do they get money out of it, like or is it just a book mafia, which killed him, and now his books are out in the market? Having said that, folks, and I have experienced lot of this stuff of book mafia. Having said that, folks, now let's start with the Jordan thing. I am fascinated because I am into I'm doing an operation of US Saudi business operation, and that thing, belongs. Belongs to White House. So I am very much, and also since I am Abu Bakr Raziallah Anha's dynasty, I am very much into Jordan and those kind of stuff. I like to read about Middle East. So this book caught my attention, and this is, let's read something about this book. It says, "Welcome to Jordan," and this is the book. And it says, "Plan your trip on the road, understand survival guide. Jordan." So this is just a guide, and it is Amman Airport pull out card. I don't know what that means. And a safe haven in a region of conflict, Jordan has delighted visitors for centuries with its World Heritage sites, friendly towns, and inspiring desert landscapes. Morocco. Oh, it's Planet. Okay, this is a lonely, and I have read so many books of Lonely Planet. Lonely Planet, Morocco. Adrenal adventure, rock climbing, wind surface, movie magic. So I have read a lot of books about this Lonely Planet. I have been reading books, since I was 3 years of age. I love to read books. The smells of books, stimulate me. And for my qualification, I am PhD in biochemistry, and I am CASCP certification in clinical chemistry, as well as, I am RAC certified. And it is so hard to get a job in federal agency. So what is going on? And I see so many, people coming from India or other places, to here, and if I cannot get a job, then I think, intelligent people are not needed in federal agencies. And it's a very thought provoking question, which Miss Harris, the Vice President of United States of America, and President Joe Biden has to answer. And since President Trump is standing again, I think President Trump should answer that question. Having said that, folks, now let's do a budgeting thing. I have never done a budgeting in my whole life. I was a spender, but now I think, since I might be on poverty level anytime, so I think I should do budgeting thing. Let's see what this budgeting journal says. It says, as many of us face an ongoing cost of living crisis, it can be harder and harder to feel in control of your finances. Spending can be all too easy with countless and online payments. And even small purchases can soon add up to significant figure when made every day or week. Okay. Now, my question: when people are in crisis like me of money, do you think, they can buy this book and just leisurely read it? People need jobs, and I need a federal agency job, or I need all my reimbursement. I'm working on this project for 8 years, and I didn't have any number. So I did LSAT, and I want to go to law school. And there was an application. There was one thing which said, like, what number do you have if you have served as a veteran, or if you have serving as an army thing. I was so lost, that I don't have a number. And I wrote to President Joe Biden and President Trump, and they did not care about giving me a number. Having said that, friends, if I, get screwed up, I will come every day on this thing and I will talk about it. Now, this is the book of Egypt, and this is again a Lonely Planet book. I like to see pyramids in that. In fact, I went to when Luxor was opened in Las Vegas. I went there and saw Luxor there, and it was all Egyptian thing. And as you know, I like Arab culture and all that. Now see this book, The Daughters of Madurai, a novel. Now, this is again written by Rajshri Veriyar. I would like to know who is this author, Rajshri Variyar, like why Tamil Nadu is so much promoted these days. What is going on? Is Miss Harris and President Joe Biden's agenda is to bring planes full of people from India and Sri Lanka, and while we people are sitting here. Now, the second thing is like when President Barack Hussein Obama, I campaigned for him. I was in New Delhi and I campaigned for him, and I was so happy that a black president is coming. But he has disappointed me so much. He has done things which I can't even describe. And also, what is going on? And he brought planes full of black people from black countries. I am not against anybody. I'm a very fair person. But what is going on in America now? I am thinking I'll come every day and talk about it. I was not feeling good. My husband is not feeling good, but I thought today, I will go and I just spoke extempore. I don't need any preparation or anything. This is all from true of my heart. So, who is this author? Why, why this author has a book while I am sitting here for 8 years and I am not paid, or no company, no publishing company is buying my book. I am not against this author, but it was The Daughters of Madurai. Why this much a thing is going on about India? I also wrote a book about India which was confiscated during President Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Clinton when he was president and she was a secretary of state. So why my book was confiscated? And every day I would get a call that why that can you sell your thing? I said please send your email and I will look into the matter. Sell your rights or anything. And then I went to Barnes and Noble and other places, and the modern Mughal mentality was confiscated. So who wants to steal my book? Is it book mafia or who it is? Now, as a Muslim, I don't drink, but I saw this book, Sheikh, Strain, and Dawn. And it is not that Sheikh, it is this Sheikh. Because Sheikh also means Arab Sheikh. The cocktails, of course I like exotic kind of cocktails which are without alcohol, so that's why it include my interest to do this book. Having said that, folks, now let's read. Cocktails are like music. Just as there is little satisfaction in listening to a single note of a song, drinks built from singular flavors are flat and uninteresting. Let me drink little bit. And this is latte. Cocktails are like music. Just as there is little satisfaction, let me eat little bit. So now I have regained my energy. So let's say cocktails are like music. So this is a cocktail book. Salt and the art of seasoning. Salt and the art of seasoning. From curing to charring and baking to brining, techniques and recipes to help you achieve extraordinary flavors. James Strawbridge. Introduction. A sparkle of white flakes on a seared steak in the sun, silky smooth buttery potato mashed with smoked sea salt, salt falling gracefully from your fingertips onto grilled asparagus in poetic perfection. I think it was a very innovative idea to write about salts and the art of seasoning. Now, let's do some Vanity Fair. I like to read Vanity Fair. So I said, just let me bring it here. And this show will be distributed to 300 million listeners. So if you sponsor my show, just imagine that your show will be sponsored to 300 million listeners at a very reasonable price. And I want to bring food to the table. So please give me sponsorship. And the other thing is, I want to run the campaign. The election is coming, and I want to run the campaign of President Joe Biden, Save America, as well as I have to be fair with President Trump. So I am going to run the campaign of Make America Great Again. And I have written to them. I have written to President Trump, and I have also been communicating with President Joe Biden. So if you give me campaign, I will run it on my this show. And but I haven't received anything from them. While the planes are coming loaded with people. So what is going on? The King's Gambit. Let's see what it is. When Frederick X became the sovereign of Denmark in January, he carved another name into a lineage that it stretches back to the 10th century. Now, my question to Vanity Fair, like people, who are struggling in life, these people are already made up. So, do you take money to put their thing? Because there is a magazine, NRI magazine in India, and which, had I went to the person who in New Delhi, and I met that person, and he said he was asking $1,000 to print my article about me. I am America's India expert, and I challenge everybody from people who are India expert that the knowledge I have, they don't have that kind of knowledge. I have that kind of knowledge. So why do I don't have a contract for going to India, and once a USIBC delegation and various delegations have gone to India, I have taken delegations, but I have always worked voluntarily. So what is going on? I just don't understand. Just because, is it a thing like you give a casting couch, like you do, if you want a job, do you have to give sexual pleasures to your boss? What is going on in America? Because I have talked to many people, and all of them, most of them have given sexual pleasures to their boss. So what kind of America are we living in? Now the third book is The Burton, The Nightmare Before Christmas, the official cookbook and entertaining guide. So I like Christmas, I always said I'm a Muslim, but I know Merry Christmas, and I always celebrated Christmas. And my parents were here in America before, I was born. So they told me American culture, and I came to America with my American dream. I belong to a very wealthy and rich family, and also, I just came here for my American dream. I was sick of that life. I had proposals of IFS officers and also of IS officers. I did not choose them because in India it is lot of corruption. I ran away from India because of lot of corruption. And now I see that how much corruption is here. I am so disillusioned that I cannot tell you folks how disillusioned I am. So let's read. Merry Christmas and Amen. I always say Merry Christmas and Amen. In our Muslim culture, we say like Eid Mubarak or Amin, But in Christian culture, I was raised, I went to school at a very young age because my parents felt that I am not, like if I go to school, so I started school at 2 years, while it is 5 years, 5 years of things. I started school at 2 years, and I went to a school, Catholic school, which is related to the Italy, the Pope, from the Pope in Italy. So I know English very well, and I wanted to show to Americans that all Muslims are not terrorists. It was not my fault that 9/11 happened. It was just that I happened to be Muslim, and go and read the introduction of my outbreak of a monstrous infection, where I have written, and I just write introduction once because I feel those books are prophetic books because of my lineage to Abu Bakr Raziallah Anna, Prophet Abu Bakr Raziallah Anna, and I go deep into my thoughts. I was thinking of giving the show for a very long time, but I was unable to give the show because there was so much of show block, you can say, that I cannot do a show. And I don't know after this that whether I'll be confiscated for saying something, to President Joe Biden, Miss Kamala Harris, and President Trump. But I wanted to say that because election is very near, and I hope they are listening and they will see my show. Now comes the Forbes. I have been reading this, since childhood. Now the thing is that there is Forbes India also, and all billionaires, they are there. All billionaires are copied on this. Things are written about them. They have already made themselves. What about people like us who came for their American dream? What will happen to these kind of people? I have never read this book, Kiplinger. I don't know what it is. And let me say, grow your wealth. Okay. Now, how can you grow your wealth if you don't have money? The first question is this. Let's see this book. Letters. The cost of long term care. Okay. Now I am looking for long term care for my husband who has Parkinson and dementia. And I am having so much problem to get the long term care. Although there is a Montgomery County where I live, there is an office there. I will go there and fill the application. And I talk to various agents. They are giving me long term care, but they are not giving long term care to my husband. So I will go there, and I am looking what is American system. I'm trying to understand American system, and I want every American citizen should be fair. One should be fair to all of them. Having said that, let's do the cost of long term care. It says, thank you for your article. Prepare to pay for long term care, March. As a financial planner, I believe there are other important points to consider. If a client has adequate assets to fund retirement, their plan should be stress tested to determine how it will fare if long term care is needed. If clients have permanent life insurance on variable annuities, the values between those contracts can often offset some or all of the cost of a long term care contract using a 1035 exchange. And finally, a reverse mortgage can be a better option for an aging individual or couple who would otherwise be forced to sell their house. J.C. Bergman, Jamieson, my wife and I are both 65, and we have LTC insurance that will pay $300 per day with no adjustments for inflation. That may cover only 50% of our cost in 20 to 30 years. Our insurance company has offered us increased coverage but at much higher premium. So we are instead planning to self fund the additional cost if needed. We think this approach is the best way to balance our risks. Ken O. Gorman, Flemington, New Jersey. I commend these people for writing all these articles because it is very relevant and pertinent to today's discussion. And let's see, if I go to long term care, if my husband gets long term care, see, I am not getting a sponsor. I'm not getting a sponsorship for this show when it is distributed to 300 million listeners. It is lot of money to come out and produce a show like this. And then I'm not getting long term care insurance for my husband. So what should a person whose husband has Parkinson and dementia do? Do you think my brother will fund me all his life? My husband is on social security, and that's what I am here. And when I come out, I have to put a caretaker, for my husband, and I have to pay that person from my own thing. When I went so many times to Montgomery County, and for nurse aid or to come to my place, and nothing is happening there. I don't know how these programs are done and who is getting funded by that. Having said that, today I brought it on the media, and I will keep on coming every day if I'm feeling well. Some days I can't even stand properly. I am so jacked up. I don't know what kind of diseases are spread in America, and terrorists are coming with open borders, and they bring disease to America. And I wrote a book, The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, when COVID was not even in the horizon. And I said that terrorists are coming to America, because I am a scientist by profession and I know what bioterrorism can. So please go and read that book so that I can make some money. And I hope those two books, can be into the movie which I have wrote. I have so much of author blog that the third book I already got. I am a self-publishing author, and I already got a contract for that. Having said that, folks, now let's go to another one. Writer's Digest, this is the one. And there is a writers institute here. There are so many non-profits. They are getting money. In Bethesda, there is a writers association, writers thing, and there are so many writers association. What are these association? There is a Montgomery County like authors association. There is a Maryland authors association. I was member of it, and no benefit came out of it. Only, you can go and sit when there is a book, like there is a book show, so they don't ask you to pay. You just go and sit there. And I tried, so that I can get a like speaking engagement there. I was not getting that. And go to my website, www.afshanhashmi.com and www.drafshanhashmi.com, and I see so many, you will see so many shows related to that, that I was sitting at that. Today I came to Barnes and Noble, and I was shocked that I started this program. I revived this program. I met everybody. And when the program was there, they didn't even care to call me. So I will meet the manager after this program. Now let's do the sweaters. A year of knitting sweaters. Holiday knits for you. Cables made easy, flattering designs. I love to wear designer sweaters since childhood. So this picture, I don't know how to knit. My mother was to knit sweaters, and my aunts and all were into that. I am into media thing, and regulatory affairs specialist and clinical trials outsourcing. So much clinical trial outsourcing has gone to other countries, and I am so upset about it because they don't have a pool of patients. On one patient, they put diabetes drug, they put many types of drugs. So you know what is going on, why the clinical trials of these drugs cannot happen in America. And there is so much hanky and panky there in the I went to a CRO, and since a regulatory affairs specialist, and they did not show me the patient pool in spite of saying that. What is informed consent? You know, why bugs are thrown at people here in Montgomery County when they don't know, like, how, you know, why bugs and all are thrown at people when it is, you know, against the law. I am not a lawyer, but I know it is against the law because I am an expert in food and drug law, and regulatory affairs specialist is that. So why it is so much against the law? To do, did they take an informed consent or anything while throwing this? I have seen so many girls, you know, taking bugs in their hand and throwing that. What kind of mafia is this, you know, that they don't know? Did they take informed consent from me? Did they, how are they doing clinical trial? Hillary Clinton, you know, she started a butterfly operation at the back of my house, you know, without even me knowing about it. And it was in it was in when Obama administration, when she was Secretary of State, and I know she started it. So, and I was so afraid, you know, that what things were happening to me, and now I have come on the media and talked about it. For from 2000s, you know, I kept that to my heart, but now I will talk about it every day. Now let's go and see Bazaar. I have been reading Bazaar in India, so please don't think that I am not in please don't think that I don't know things, because someone, you know, from Montgomery County, a guy who is like a state senator, I don't know what he is, he asked me, do you have he was asking me, like, is your house of mud? So that's what they think about India, that do you think like I haven't seen a good house? I am going towards the poverty level where I was raised like a princess. So this is not American dream, President Joe Biden and President Trump. You know, I would like to see what you are doing, because you both are standing in election. Let's see if you invite me to have a discussion on this, or if you reimburse me whatever I was working for past 8 years. I like Lap Lauren, you know. But do you think, you know, a person going in poverty can a common American wear Lauren? My question is that. Vogue. Let's talk about Vogue now. Game set Coco Chanel. Yes. Coco Chanel, you know. So do you think a person who's going in poverty or a common American afford Coco Chanel, just because there are not enough resources and people are coming in planes? So all borders should be closed. Now let's see the story of tea. I like exotic teas, you know. I have since childhood drank Earl Tree and Twinnings, you know. And my brother came from England and he brought some Twinning, and so I have, you know, today I made that cocktail. I have a special cocktail which I will, you know, soon copyright that. So let's see tea. I know people who have tea gardens in Darjeeling. Journeying along the tea trail. So, you know, you write books and all. My question is, like, what a common American should do. American dream is ruined today. Nobody, you know, there are so many people without jobs. Green tea is commonly associated with China, Japan, and Korea. Now, green tea. I, being a regulatory affairs specialist, I am against dietary supplements, because you don't know if green tea has what. The other day, I had a green tea and it did not have a nutrition label. So what, why President Clinton, he went ahead and he made, he changed the laws, and he made dietary supplement, like it can be available in the markets. I have seen some blood, selling in a market, a Chinese market in Montgomery County. So do you think people will drink blood? What is all this nonsense? My question to FDA Commissioner and also to President Clinton. For the culture. Okay, let's do culture studies. America does so many culture studies, and there are so many bright scholars, who are into culture. I am also into culture, and I know the culture of India. I know the Arab culture. Do you think, I would get a contract? Do you think like there is a couching cast with the a couching thing with the presidents? That if you go and sleep with the presidents, then only you can get a federal job. I have done a lot of research and I have come to the conclusion that, if you go to the presidents, and sleep with them, then you will get a job. I don't want to name any presidents, but that is a truth which I have done research on. So let's see this. Interviews and recipes. Okay, let's do interviews and recipes. Very innovative idea. Leah Pennyman. Now see this. See this. This is a bhala, which is in India, it is called bhala. I have been confiscated and beaten by these kind of effects. So what is going on? Are these people from Tamil Nadu or from LTEE or from other organizations coming to America, and beating Americans on this? On Rockville Pike, I have seen beating squads, beating squad chambers, and I was the one who spotted them, and I hope they are closed. So now, if you get, I have been beaten up and confiscated so much, that I don't know what is going on in America. I hope President Joe Biden and President Trump listens to this and takes some action, and also Miss Harris, listens to this, and because they all are standing in election. Having said that, folks, now my book is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, which was an Amazon bestseller, and the other one was The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. And those two books were Amazon bestseller, and the first one, The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace, was also like an Amazon bestseller and hot #1 new release. And I want a movie and documentary to be made of these two movies. And I did an independent evaluation, and you can go to my website www.afshanhashmi.com and see what Tailflix has given the evaluation. So I think these are two very good books for a movie or a documentary. Let's see what action President Trump or President Joe Biden takes or Miss Kamala Harris takes regarding this problem. I hope they can make me some connections in Hollywood or Bollywood, and get these movies out. And having said that, if any Hollywood or Bollywood producer is listening, please contact me, because I am not going to give you sexual pleasures, the casting couch of Bollywood or Hollywood. I just want a movie or anything to be made out of it. And also President Joe Biden and President Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris and President Trump. I will not give you any sexual pleasures. Let's see, without sexual pleasures, if you can, give my reimbursement, and also if you can give me anything, without those sexual pleasures. So let's see what happens after this. Having said that, folks, this is Dr. Afshan Hashmi, live from Barnes and Noble. And having said that, my website is www.afshanhashmi.com and www.drafshanhashmi.com. And please go and see what my qualification is and what I am. Since 20 years, I don't have a job. I didn't do 9/11. If 9/11 was the problem, then I should not be punished for that, being a Muslim American citizen. And from Abu Bakr Razi Allah's dynasty, and we are the ones who brought Islam in this world. And my forefathers came and settled in Pahetia, a princely state of Ghazipur. And my grandfather left, Professor Abdul Alim, left everything, and he went and joined Lucknow, and he started like a paper, and he gave in the independence, he gave the thing, he gave people, like the students and all, like for revolution. He brought revolution there. And let's see, if my this show brings any kind of revolution, or and I don't want to excite people. I'm peace through strength, and that's why I'm saying this. Having said that, folks, good evening and goodbye and cheers.